Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
And we are back with our licensed therapist, our coach and trainer, Mandel Counseling Center, counseling coaching, I should say. So really focusing on mental wellness, lifestyle coaching, and there's so much more that Marsha can help you with. And she's back here today to, of course, talk more about mental health and all she can do to help. So let me first start off by having her introduce herself. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Jill?
Doing well. Thank you so much. For those new listeners today, would you mind telling us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I'm really glad to be here. I'm on a mission to spread information about mental wellness, that there are ways to manage stress throughout the day. There are ways to keep yourself calm and have clarity in your thought and, feel confident. And, there are things that we can do just like we do for our physical health, we can do for our mental health throughout the day. So that's what the coaching is about. The therapist and Mandel Counseling, I'm a trauma specialist. So I treat all different kinds of things that people have stuck in their minds. There's a therapy that can help remove those things called accelerated resolution therapy. So there's the mental wellness piece and the trauma counseling piece.
Got it. And if we want to reach out to you, would you mind sharing phone number, website, all the above?
Sure. A website would be mentalwellnesslifestyle.com. You can also get there through marshamandel.com, which is MARSHAMANDEL.com. And my practice and coaching practice number is 845-458-8288.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So, what did you have in mind for your audience today specifically?
Well, I actually started this website, Mental Wellness Lifestyle, to spread information about mental wellness. There are a lot of things that we were just never taught. It's not taught in school, about our brains, about our thoughts and emotions. And there are things that would benefit every single person to know. And I find that with my clients, I go over this information, and some of it is, when you hear about it and think about it, it's kind of obvious, but I had not thought about it either. I had the same misconception. So I can give you an example, that our certainty, how certain we are about something, is not correlated with truth. So what I mean by that is we can be 100% certain and 100% wrong. And we all know this, yet we frequently say, and we hear things like, I just know it. I know that person's mad at me, or I know I won't get the job, or I know I can't do this or that. So it's really helpful for us to take a breath, take a step back, and see, look at our own thoughts. And when we do that, we could see that our thoughts are unreliable, which is fine. It actually has to be that way, because we would never have any creativity if we weren't able to have a lot of flexibility, in our thinking, but people get stuck. So that's a point I wanted to really, one thing I wanted to talk about today.
A lot of us feel stuck, right? And, anyone listening here today, by the way, if you are suffering with a mental health issue, always, did you recommend reaching out to someone? Of course, that can help. I know there's plenty of 800 numbers, but in particular, is there something you want to say to someone out there who's listening today this really hits home with?
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a broad spectrum. So if you are feeling stuck and it's interfering with your life, and you're having difficulty changing your mindset, a lifestyle coach or a coach may be helpful for you. If it's really causing distress, it may be helpful to go for therapy. And if you have a suspicion that there are things in your past that are linked to this distress, absolutely go to a trauma therapist and process it. I'm licensed in New York and New Jersey, and I do virtual trauma counseling. I recommend accelerated resolution therapy. And a lot of people are unaware that their distress is rooted in things that go all the way back. So that's definitely something that could benefit anyone. If you would like more information on mental wellness, there's information on my website, mentalwellnesslifestyle.com, information about thoughts and about emotions. I can give you some examples. Um, when we repeat a thought enough times, it starts to feel like a fact, and then we don't question it. So an example is a woman who was in a really bad marriage, and for years she said to herself, I can't leave. I can't do it. She had all these reasons why she couldn't. She was certain. She didn't question that belief. It felt like a fact to her that she couldn't, be independent, or she couldn't start over, or, whatever her situation was. And, for years, she told herself the same thing. And what she found out is that she was wrong, that when she said, I can't, she was wrong. Um, and we see the same thing with so many different life situations. There's a saying, and I'm not sure who to credit it to. It might be Albert Einstein, but I'm not sure. Whether you believe you can or you can't, you're right.
All right. I never heard that. All right. Yeah, I
Yeah.
got it. I got it.
So, it is possible to learn how to take a step back from your thoughts and observe them and recognize often, oh, wait a second, you're looking at your thoughts and wait a second, does this have to be true? Is this necessarily true? Another example is parents that have children that are having some difficulties,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's a disability or whatever it is. Parents often have this automatic belief, my child can't be suffering. My child can't be struggling. I have to fix my child. So, so this is a belief that a mother with children with disabilities had was, I have to fix my child. And to be a good mother, I have to fix my child. And the problem with that is it was completely irrational,
Mm-hmm.
because maybe there isn't something to fix, but fixing is out of your control. There's a limit to what you can do. And being a good mother is about your effort. It's not about the outcome, things out of your control.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I work with parents frequently who have some version of this, real distress about their kids, adult children, kids of any age. And they're really distressing themselves because they have this belief, my child has to be happy. I can't stand the thought of my child suffering or failing, or, and, there are things that are out of our control. And this is something that parents, it's really important for parents to recognize this.
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh my goodness. Yeah. And never thought about that as parents. You always want what's best for your kid, but it's hard with that detachment as a parent. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
that's right. And what's best, if you think about it, I asked a parent recently, and I do ask a lot of questions because it elicits critical thinking. So I asked a parent recently who was saying this, oh, my daughter, something can happen. She's in this situation. It could be really bad. And, so I asked her, she said, my daughter has to be happy. So I asked her, is it possible? Do you think it's possible for any human being to go through life without pain?
Yeah.
So she thought about that and she said, no. And I said, well, that means that includes your daughter. She is going to experience pain in her life. So what can we do? And
Mm-hmm.
this, yeah. So, there's this information about thoughts and how we distress ourselves with our own thinking. And then there's this information about emotions. So what do we do when our child is in pain, when somebody we love is suffering?
Ah,
And this is another part of mental wellness lifestyle. And this is what needs to be taught in kindergarten and first grade and second grade and third grade. I believe that this information should be a part of standard curriculum, just like physical education. There should be mental health education, mental wellness. So with emotions, something that we hear frequently from people is, oh, they didn't have a right to feel that way, or I don't deserve to feel this way, or they don't deserve, or they don't have a right to feel, that kind of thing, or you shouldn't feel this way. Um, so if you take a breath and take a step back, and this helps us think
mm,
more clearly when we do that, and we look at the situation. So if somebody is coming to you and they say, I'm so sad, and they're crying and they're so sad, it's makes no sense to say to that person, don't be sad.
yeah.
It's like saying there's an elephant in the room, don't be there, elephant,
Mm-hmm.
It's so if the emotion is there, it's there.
Mm-hmm.
And so the emotion, they're always valid, and they don't need permission. They don't need to have a right to be there. They're there for some reason. And sometimes, often, the reason is based on, we're going back to the thoughts of false thought. So let's say somebody went for a big exam and they're convinced that they failed the exam. And
Mm-hmm.
they're walking around telling themselves, I know I failed. I know I failed. I did terribly. I really messed that up. They're going to be, feeling really low about that. They might feel heavy. They might go and have a drink or go shopping or do something to, numb their emotions because they don't want to feel. The feeling that they have is valid because it's there.
Mm-hmm.
So being with that person and just saying, let's take a breath, tell me what you're feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And that sounds really difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah. So holding space for the emotion. And if the emotion is there, it may be there, but it may not be based on a fact.
Mm-hmm.
But we can't go to the facts first if the emotion is there. We have
Yeah.
to hold space.
Yeah. And Marsha, at this time, we're halfway through. Would you mind just reminding everyone how we can reach you?
Sure. Mentalwellnesslifestyle.com. You can contact me through that site. You can also reach me at 845-458-8288.
Got it. Perfect. Thank you again. Continuing here talking about mental health and, not, what is it? Is it May's Mental Health Awareness a month? It really should be every month, right?
Yeah, it should be, just like we pay attention to what we eat every month and how,
every
how we
day.
take, yeah.
So again, you
It,
offer mental wellness coaching, counseling, psychotherapy, also ART. There's a lot that she has to offer. Visit her on the website. And of course, you can reach out to book your first appointment there too and
sure.
talk about coaching, counseling, art training, whatever it is in particular. Go ahead. I'm
Mhm.
sorry.
Oh no, that's I appreciate that. Last time I was focused on the accelerated resolution therapy, which is the trauma piece. But this piece, the mental wellness, it is something that would be really helpful for everybody to bring into their life. So, if you think about all the things everybody we do for our bodies every day, we brush our
Hmm.
teeth, we take care of our skin, we try to eat certain things, we exercise. So we do a lot of things to take care of our bodies, and we can do a lot of things to take care of our mental wellness throughout the day.
Hmm.
So even something
Give
like,
us, yeah, some examples, please.
yeah, well, a deep, slow breath, and I mentioned this on my website. The first time somebody told me take a deep breath, to help me calm down, I thought, what is that going to do for me? But it turns out that a shallow breath a rapid breathing or a halted breath, like holding your breath, is really associated with distress.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of a physiological stress response. And taking a deep, slow breath, you're using your body, you're telling your body what to do. And a long exhale is really important. So, deep breath with a long exhale, you're telling your body to do that. And your body is sending a message back up. That was a great exhale.
Thank you. You're making me think about it. Me
Good,
too.
good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It sends a message, your body does, back up to that emotional part of the brain. So the emotional part of the brain
Mm-hmm.
is like, oh, this appointment's coming up, what's going to happen? And the anxiety is building up in your unconscious mind. You're not even aware of this
Mm-hmm.
stuff, these worries that are happening, and that's affecting you physiologically. You take some slow, deep breaths, and you're able to think more clearly.
Yeah.
And your emotional mind, yeah, gets the message that, hey, things are safe right now. We can
Yeah.
breathe. And what would be helpful again for everybody to know
Yeah.
is that a deep, slow breath with a nice long exhale actually will increase blood flow to your rational brain, your prefrontal cortex.
Yeah.
So there is a reason to focus on your breaths. So imagine if a person's going through their day and they're going from one thing to another. They're saying, oh, I got to finish work. I have to pick up the kids. I have to get dinner. I have to, they're just going through all this and they're not stopping to think about their breathing at all.
Yeah.
And they're just on this go, go, go. Their body is holding on to stress. And what happens is it accumulates and it builds up. And if we don't do something about it, it can really cause a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people, go to yoga, go to the gym, release stress that way. Those are great. But these other methods are things you can do
Mm-hmm.
while you're in your day. So imagine if you're driving to get your kids and you're saying, okay, let me just take a breath while you're
Mm-hmm.
driving, and you're tuning into your body and you're feeling your body when you notice
Mm-hmm.
your breath. And it actually interrupts that accumulating stress response.
Mm-hmm.
So these are things that can help bring clarity and calmness into your everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, breathing is one. There are some more that, if we have time, I could maybe share one more.
Sure. Yep.
I don't know. I don't know what, but if we
Oh
have,
yeah, we have time.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. We got
Okay.
10 minutes.
Okay, great. So, the next thing that we can do throughout the day is to tune into the muscles in our bodies, because muscle constriction, muscle tightness is also, just like the breathing and your heart rate, associated with a stress response. So if you think about a time when you were really stressed out, if I ask clients, think about a time when you were really stressed out, what was your body like? And
Mm-hmm.
they say, oh yeah, I was tense, I was holding my breath. So another thing we can do, and another thing we can do is learn how to do a body scan, tension and release from head to toe.
Mm-hmm.
So I take people through this exercise. Um, currently my video is down on my website. I think I have to put it back up there. But I take people through this exercise. It's a 2-minute exercise where you focus on the top of your head,
Okay.
notice any tension, and you think about releasing it. And you go to your face. We hold tension in our face,
Mm-hmm.
in our heads, and our neck. A lot of people hold tension in their jaw. Notice any tension, you think about releasing it, your neck and your shoulders, and you do your entire body, and you're noticing tension and you're thinking about opening. So there's a reason we don't tell our muscles to just calm down or relax.
Mm-hmm.
If your muscles are tense and you say, hey, relax, they're going to be like, what, are you kidding me? I'm ready to, fight or whatever. So we're not telling our body to relax. We're saying, open up, just loosen up and let go and release the tension. So after you do this a few times, and it
Mm-hmm.
might take 2 minutes, it you learn how to do it and you start connecting with your muscles in that order.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it becomes automatic because whatever we practice becomes automatic.
Mm-hmm.
So then throughout the day, so like I'm sitting here talking about it, and we can, even while we're having a discussion, we can, in the back of our mind, say, oh, let me notice tension. Let me think about releasing it.
Mm-hmm.
And we reset our bodies. And again, a, a like a relaxed body or looser muscles are not compatible with an anxious state of mind or stress.
Yeah. And a lot of us live that way, including myself. I'm guilty. Yeah, always uptight. Trying to relax
Yeah,
and breathe for a little. It feels
good.
good.
Oh, that's great. And you even look different. You even
I
look
feel
more
calm.
relaxed.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So it's really, there are simple things and there's science behind it. There's neuroscience behind it. Um, the whole idea of bringing your attention to your body and, in a kind way.
Yeah.
By doing that, you're interrupting. If your brain was like, oh, I have to do this, I have to do that, and it's in 100 different places because we have the ability to just hold a lot of things in our mind simultaneously. By bringing our attention to our bodies, we are practicing mindfulness also.
Mm-hmm.
So we're in the here and now.
Got
We're
it.
not, yeah. So by doing that, you're not thinking about the future. You're not angry about the past or upset about the past. You're saying, this moment, I'm here, I feel my body, and this moment is okay.
Mm-hmm.
And another saying, which I don't remember where this one, if I found it it was a Buddhist saying book, but it was, you take care of each moment, you take care of all time.
Yeah.
So like this moment, if you're able to say, well, I'm safe, everything is okay in this moment. And if you live in this moment, you are experiencing this moment of your life. You're not living always ahead or in the past or someplace else other than, where you are. So I encourage anybody listening to try these things and as frequently as you can. So some people might say, okay, so when I feel anxious, I do this. And no, that's not what this is about. This is about throughout your day, as frequently as you can remember. Take
Mm-hmm.
that breath, take that nice long exhale, tune into your body, release tension. When you do that throughout your day, you are resetting yourself, and it can absolutely interrupt accumulating stress that's going on in your body or mind. So that's really, it's a major, it sounds so simple, but these are major things that you can do that affect the body and the mind.
Got it. And there's, also just isn't part of being mindful and waking up, being grateful, gratitude goes a long way. I mean, the simplistic thing like that, right? Some people don't
Absolutely.
breathing simple. I mean, these are things that we could all do. And people say I'm too busy, too busy. You could do a little at a time during the day. Mm-hmm.
And gratitude, they've done, studies on that.
Mm-hmm.
People who had 2 weeks of a gratitude journal where they wrote every day things that they were grateful for,
Yeah.
their numbers, their rating on a depression scale decreased.
Okay.
So, yeah. And if you think about it, I have a simple example. Two people that went through the same event. So one person might say, this ruined my life, this event, I'll never recover from this. The other person might say, wow, that was incredibly difficult, but I am so grateful for my life and for
Mm-hmm.
the life of, other people.
Mm-hmm.
And those people, they're going to have a very different course in their mindset.
Mm-hmm.
the person who's focused on loss and how the pain and the difficulty, they're going to have a much lower time. They're going to feel heavy and discouraged, and the person who's practicing gratitude is going to feel hopeful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, in closing today, we still have 3 minutes left. Let's summarize, today's conversation, and of course, find out how we can reach you with more questions.
Yeah. So the idea of a mental wellness lifestyle is about living your day, bringing in caring for your mind, caring for your brain and your body. And these are things that can help you feel calm, can help you decrease your stress level throughout the day. So that's, the deep breathing with a nice long exhale and a muscle relaxation. Those are two things that people can do throughout their day. If there are things that are stuck in your mind, like images or strong emotions, or you're having a really hard time moving past something from your past, I recommend therapy. And in New York and New Jersey, I am a licensed therapist, and I provide accelerated resolution therapy. I encourage anybody listening to go to acceleratedresolutiontherapy.com and find an ART therapist near you to help you process anything that is beyond daily stress. That's where the therapy piece comes in. I do provide mental wellness coaching from anywhere virtually. And my website is mentalwellnesslifestyle.com. And my number is 845-458-8288. And I look forward to hearing from anyone with any questions about this, or to set up a consultation.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Pleasure having
Thank
you
you.
here as always, and looking forward to the next time we connect. One more time, the website. Could you spell your name?
Sure. Well, there's mentalwellnesslifestyle.com, but there's also marshamandel.com. You can see the therapy stuff and the art training, marshamandel.com.
Great. Thank you so much for your time today. And thank you
Thank
for
you.
those tips, and for actually making me think as well about taking a moment to calm down.
Oh, I'm so glad.
Thank you for the breathing. I've heard about breathing. I've done breathing exercises, but I haven't done them in a while. So you reminded me I need to start this again. It feels
Yes.
good, and it could really
Great.
help and benefit so many of us. Thank you again, Marsha.
Great.
Have
Thank
a
you.
fantastic day.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house. And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.